Look, y'all, at this point, we're just taking it week by week as Carolina Panthers fans. Because, look, the Carolina Panthers, they're struggling. They're down bad. We're 1-5 at this point, going into the 4-2 Washington Commanders Stadium. A young team that feels like they're surging. The Carolina Panthers feel like they might be floundering at this point. It might be a little bit rough, a little trouble in paradise right now for the Carolina Panthers. But welcome in to the Keep Prowling podcast. I'm your host, DJ Bill, and I'm back once again to talk about these Carolina Panthers, give you a little preview of this game all alone today. All right, just give you a quick little preview of the game. We'll talk about the rest of the games throughout the league, and then we'll get into it. But real quick, let's start off with last week. Last week, the game against the Atlanta Falcons, we knew, we talked about it on the show. We knew it was going to be a tough task to ask for the Carolina Panthers to come in and play a really talented, really veteran, stout team in the Atlanta Falcons. And honestly, I think the Falcons just proved to be too much. I think there were times where the Panthers looked like they played well, right? The offense looked pretty good. They looked like they could move the football. They looked like they could get stops. But I think it was just too much, and I think that almost is kind of a summation of what this team has been, right? It's a summary of what this team has been throughout this season. Like, there's glimpses here and there, especially with Andy Dalton behind center. There's been glimpses here and there, but it just hasn't been able to be put together yet, and that's been the problem right now for the Carolina Panthers. And I don't know, I think at that point last week, a couple weeks ago, I'm thinking, maybe they can turn it around. But I think it just gets harder and harder the more of a hole you dig. And the question still goes back to, should you go back to Bryce Young this year? And what do you do? I know the trade deadline's coming up. There's a lot of potential talks about potential trades that could happen that Panthers fans may want to happen, that a lot of people may think that may help this team, may push this team over the top. I heard one of the Cleveland analysts put out there a potential Deshaun Watson for Bryce Young trade. That would be interesting. I'll let y'all discuss that one down below. I'll discuss that one a little more when I have somebody to discuss it with. But that would be interesting just to see where that would go if that actually had legs. Like I said before, I think the problem becomes the Bryce Young situation, right? Like let's just I'll read this off to y'all because it's pretty, not flabbergasting, but it's pretty crazy, man. It's pretty crazy to think about what the Panthers lost in the Bryce Young trade. And if you trade Bryce Young, you in turn lose more because you lose a potential guy who could be your guy, but I don't think you know it just a year and 3-4 games into his career. But if you think about it, right, at this point in time, the Carolina Panthers have lost out on DJ Moore because of this trade. Darnell Wright, the starting offensive tackle for the Chicago Bears right now, a starting corner in Tariq Stevenson, of course Caleb Williams, and their current punter, Torrey Taylor, as well. So, you think about that. That's 5 positions that play right now for the Chicago Bears for a guy who, let's be honest, is not even playing right now. That's the crazy part of it. And they still got a 2025 second-round pick out of that trade. That they still wait on that. Who knows what that could be. So it's just crazy. It's crazy to even think about. And, of course, I'll bring those numbers back up and bring those names back up later on. But it's just crazy, man, to think that this is where we've come to, right? It's crazy to think that this is where the Carolina Panthers are right now. They're the guy they put all those resources, literally all those resources or potential resources into, have become is the guy who's on the bench. And do the Panthers even know? And I've heard some questioning out there from you all too. Do the Panthers even know if that guy is that guy yet? So that's the crazy part of it, man. We just don't. At this point, there's so much uncertainty right now in Carolina, and you just don't know what you got in the guy you got. And that's why I personally feel like you got to go back to him. You guys, I've heard you, some of you guys are like, wait it out. Some of you guys are like, trade him away. Some of you guys are like, play him. So, all different opinions. But going into this game this week against Washington, it's tough. right? It's tough. I just got to shake my head because it's tough. Because Washington is tough because they're not, I think beginning of the season, I think we thought like, okay, rookie QB, they're still going to be young, still trying to find their way. Are they really going to be able to, play well against the Panthers considering? And, all things considered now at this point, it's going to be tough. It's going to be an uphill climb for the Panthers because of how well that offense is playing. No matter what defense they play, they tend to play well. And it'll be interesting to see if Brian Robinson Jr. is back. That'll help that offense a little bit more. Of course, they got Austin Eckler and those guys too. So, it's going to be a tough week, I think, for the Carolina Panthers. I think the way they win this game, though, is they have to, once again, like we said before, slow it down. You can't have these teams outscoring you 30 and 40 points. Scoring 30 and 40 points on you, you're going to have to play that kind of defense, that kind of sticky defense where it's like, hey, we got to get stopped. We got to get stopped. We got to get this team off the field, and then the offense has to capitalize on it. Because, we've seen the offense kind of start well. Like, they have some good drives, and then just out of the blue, it's gone. Out of the blue is nothing, right? It's no more. So I think for the Carolina Panthers to win this game, I think they're going to have to slow it down and have to lean on this offense. They, lean on the defense first, but I'm saying like lean on this offense to just continue to consistently be able to put up points. And, the question is this the offense to do it? I guess we'll see. I guess we'll see, and I guess that's a whole question for a whole another day. But let's jump into it. I told you it was going to be quick, but let's jump into the Week 7 games. Let's just talk about these games. I think in terms of the Panthers game, I feel like the Panthers versus Washington, I think it's going to be hard, man. I really do. I think it's going to be a hard game for the Panthers to win. I think, they're on the road. I honestly just don't think they're playing well right now, like at all. So I think because of that, I think Washington's probably going to win. Thursday Night Football, Denver at New Orleans. I feel like Denver's kind of finding their stride, so I'm going to go with Denver. New England, y'all pick below as well. Just let me know. New England versus Jacksonville. I think this is in London. Jacksonville on the 2-week layover here, just hanging on, for dear life, waiting it out. I think Jacksonville is absolutely terrible, but I think with New England coming in with a new quarterback, the Carolina guy at that, like, I think they come in. I think New England comes in and wins this game because I just think Jacksonville is just not good. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's time for Trevor Lawrence to go. I can't tell, but I don't know what it is. So Seattle at the Atlanta Falcons. I think Seattle wins this game. I think this is going to be a good game, though. This is going to be a good game because of what Seattle is and what Atlanta is. It's going to be a good game, but I think Seattle. I think the defense prevails. Tennessee at Buffalo. Ain't this one of those weird games? Tennessee might sneak up and win. I know Buffalo just grabbed Amari Cooper, right? So that helps that offense a little bit more. An offense that, has been up and down this year. But I think this is a sneaky game where Tennessee might get the win. The Cincinnati Bengals at the Cleveland Browns. It depends on which Cleveland Browns team shows up. Depends on what Cincinnati Bengals team shows up in this one. But I think Cincinnati, for as inconsistent as they are better than the Cleveland Browns. So we'll go with that. Houston at Green Bay. I think this is going to be a really good game. It's going to be a really good game. I'm expecting the Green Bay upset right here, but it's going to be a really good game. Miami at Indianapolis. Anthony Richardson may be back this week. We'll see. And I just don't trust Miami and whoever Miami has right now, so I'm going to go with Indianapolis. Detroit at Minnesota, little in-division game right there. I'm going to say Detroit. I think Minnesota, and I don't know, this could be one of those games where it's like a proven game for Minnesota if they can win. So, I wouldn't be surprised if Minnesota won, but I think Detroit wins this game. Another going in division again, so Philadelphia at the New York Giants. I think the New York Giants get the upset right here. I think they do. I think by hook or by crook they get the upset. The Vegas Raiders at the Los Angeles Rams. For me, I think you got to go. Vegas, no Devontae Adams. I think that's going to hurt. I think it's going to hurt more than they know. I think the Rams get the win. Kansas City to end the 4 o'clock game. To end the 4 o'clock games. Easy for me to say. Kansas City at San Francisco. I am gonna go with. Ooh, that's a tough one. That's a Super Bowl rematch right there. I think San Francisco gets their revenge. I think that's usually how that goes in these scenarios. So I think San Francisco gets their revenge. And then for Sunday Night Football, you got the New York Jets at the Pittsburgh Steelers. I say the New York Jets get the win here. And, Devontae Adams comes in, plays it in spurts because you're going to have to figure out the offense. But I think the Jets get the win. I think this Pittsburgh defensive run has got to come to an end at some point. I think this is the week that it does. Monday Night Football, Baltimore Ravens so we got two Monday Night Football games this week. Pretty fun. Baltimore Ravens at Tampa Bay. I think the Ravens get the win here. I think Tampa Bay's really good. I think Tampa Bay's really talented. I think Tampa Bay's going to play well in this game. But I think Baltimore's offense will ultimately be the deciding factor because Tampa Bay's defense has been a little inconsistent here and there. Last but not least, the LA Chargers at the Arizona Cardinals. Very interesting game right here as well. Arizona has been kind of up and down. I feel like the Chargers have been mostly consistent. They're like the most consistent 500 team you'll see. But I think Arizona gets the win right here in a little bit of an upset. So it should be a lot of fun. I know, Martin Harrison Jr. is kind of up in the air too in that one as well. But it'll definitely be a lot of fun. This week is going to be a lot of fun in the NFL. There's a lot of fun and competitive games. And for the Carolina Panthers, they just got to keep – I hate to say this, but they just got to keep pounding, all right? They just got to keep going. They got to find where that consistency is and continue. And, one of the biggest things, too, is continue to get Xavier Leggett involved, right? Continue to get Deontay Johnson involved. Continue to get your guys involved, the guys who can make plays in space and make things a little bit easier for Andy Dalton or Bryce if he ever comes back in. Either way, make it easier. Shout out to Shuba Hubbard as well. He's been playing his butt off, and I think you got to get him the ball right now too. So we'll see exactly what happens. But definitely hope you guys enjoyed the Keep Prowling podcast today. Let me let you know this real quick that the Keep Prowling podcast is on all major podcasting platforms. So you got to check the show out. You have to. You got to check the show out. And if you're watching on social media, be sure to join the discussion below. We'll see you guys on the next episode of the Keep Prowling podcast. Are there any Panthers topics that you want to hear us talk about? Let us know in the comments below.